Welcome to our cautionary guide on how Social Security and immigration status intersect in the United States. First, we will frame the problem and explain why timing, documents, and delivery details matter so much. Next, we will break down the I-94 expiration trap, the SSA and DHS verification process, and how simple mail mistakes can reset your progress. Finally, we will share a best path forward, practical tips, and a short quiz to lock in your understanding. Here is our agenda. First, we will cover why the SSN is so crucial and how immigration status affects it. Then, we will dive into the I-94 expiration trap. After that, we will clarify how SSA and DHS verification works. Next, we will outline critical hurdles and then share a practical path forward. We will also address mailbox security, quiz you briefly, summarize key takeaways, and close with an important disclaimer. To begin, understand that your Social Security number application depends on your current, verifiable immigration status. Even if you apply correctly and on time, the SSA must verify your status through DHS at the moment they process your application. Consequently, if a document expires while your case is pending, SSA may pause your case until you present a new, definitive authorization, like an employment authorization document or a green card. Now let's focus on the I-94 expiration trap. You arrive lawfully with a valid I-94 and apply for an SSN soon after. However, if the I-94 expires before SSA completes DHS verification, the SSA may pause your case. Even though filing an adjustment of status generally protects you from accruing unlawful presence, SSA typically insists on a current, definitive authorization, such as an EAD, or a green card. As a result, your application can stall until you present one of those documents. This timeline shows how events typically unfold. First, at arrival, the I-94 is issued, and shortly after, the applicant files for an SSN. Next, if the I-94 expires while SSA is still processing, a stall occurs because SSA requires current authorization. Meanwhile, the adjustment of status is pending with USCIS. Then, once the EAD is approved, SSA can re-verify and proceed to issue the SSN. The key insight is that the gap between expiration and new authorization often determines the length of the delay. Next, let's connect SSA and DHS. SSA relies on DHS systems, such as SAVE, to confirm your status. If the I-94 has expired, those systems may not confirm current authorization, causing the SSN application to pend. While an adjustment of status might protect you from unlawful presence issues, that alone does not necessarily satisfy SSA's requirement. Instead, an approved EAD or green card usually serves as the definitive, current authorization that allows SSA to finalize your SSN. Moving on, there are two common hurdles. First, DHS verification delays can stretch for weeks or months. Second, delivery problems can force SSA to treat your case like a new issuance or replacement. If the SSN card was mailed, but returned due to a mailbox name mismatch or address issue, SSA must re-verify your current status when you come back. If your I-94 has expired by that time, they will require an EAD or green card to release the card, effectively creating a catch-22 for the applicant. Here is a quick reference of documents and how SSA views them. An unexpired I-94 can support initial verification, but once expired, SSA typically asks for an EAD or green card. An EAD serves as definitive work authorization and often resolves a stalled case. A green card is also definitive. A passport and visa establish identity and context, but are usually insufficient without current status authorization. An adjustment of status receipt notice shows filing but does not provide work authorization for SSA purposes. To resolve a stalled SSN application, act on the immigration side rather than the SSA side. First, track your USCIS cases and reply quickly to any requests for evidence. If you qualify, consider an expedite request for your EAD based on criteria like severe financial loss. Next, once the EAD is approved, visit SSA with your original documents, including your passport, I-94, the EAD or green card, the I-485 receipt, and proof of address. Then, ask SSA to re-verify via DHS, and finalize your SSN. Finally, keep thorough records of all interactions and dates. Additionally, you should protect delivery from the start. Make sure the exact name you used on the application appears on your mailbox, or is listed as an authorized recipient in your building's registry. Use a stable address if possible. If necessary, add a care of line, and notify roommates or building management to expect SSA mail. If the card is returned to SSA, anticipate that the office will require re-verification of your current status when you go to retrieve it. Quiz time. The question is, your I-94 expired while your SSN application is pending, and you filed adjustment of status. What is the most effective next step to get the SSN issued? Option A is to keep calling SSA weekly. Option B is to reapply using the expired I-94. Option C is to wait for or obtain EAD or green card approval and then ask SSA to re-verify. Option D is to ask USPS to deliver the card again. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is Option C. SSA typically requires current, verifiable authorization. Therefore, an approved EAD or green card is the document that allows SSA to re-verify your status through DHS and finalize issuance of your SSN. This sequence diagram illustrates the delivery failure scenario. First, SSA mails the SSN card via USPS. Next, USPS attempts delivery, but if the mailbox name does not match or the recipient is not listed, the mail is returned to sender. Then, USPS returns the undeliverable card to SSA. After that, the applicant visits SSA to claim the card. At this point, SSA requests current status re-verifications. If the I-94 has expired, the applicant must present an EAD or green card. Otherwise, SSA releases the card. Here are key tips. Apply early and monitor your I-94 expiration. Ensure your exact application name is on the mailbox. Track USCIS cases closely and consider an EAD expedite if your situation meets the criteria. Bring original documents to SSA and explicitly ask for DHS re-verification. Keep detailed records of all dates and contacts. Let's compare roles. On the left, SSA issues Social Security numbers and cards, verifies status through DHS systems, and requires current authorization at the time of issuance. SSA does not adjudicate immigration benefits. On the right, USCIS and DHS adjudicate immigration applications such as adjustment of status, employment authorization, and green cards. They update the SAV database that SSA queries and determine immigration status and work eligibility, but they do not mail SSN cards. In summary, your SSN depends on having current, verifiable status. If your I-94 expires while an application is pending, the SSN may stall until you have an EAD or green card. Prevent delivery failures by labeling your mailbox correctly. Take action on the immigration side first, and then return to SSA with the new proof so they can re-verify and issue your number. Important disclaimer. This content is for general educational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Policies and processes can change and may vary by office and by case. For personalized guidance, consult a qualified immigration attorney or accredited representative. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you, please like, share, and subscribe. Finally, tell us your experience with SSA processing or mailbox issues in the comments so others can learn from your story.